Get wrecked, teddies! Now I know what you're thinking. Why is this grown man being so over-enthusiastic about squirrels fighting teddy bears in a remake of a game that came out almost 20 years ago? Wait, is that online? That's right, I'm playing Conker Live Reloaded on my original Xbox online in 2024. But how is this possible, you ask? And what was it like, you also ask? Well, let me tell you. In preparation for some future videos on rare games, I was looking for an original Xbox. Seeing as I never owned one, in that generation of consoles, I had to make a decision. Would I want a PlayStation 2? A GameCube? Or take a chance on an Xbox? By the time I was looking at new consoles, the Dreamcast was already on its way out. Since I was a big Nintendo 64 fan, I wanted to put all my money on Nintendo, and I went with the GameCube. And then it happened. I got a game that blew my mind as a kid, sporting a very familiar logo to me, Starfox Adventrures Dinosaur Planet. I was so stoked to see how Rare's next adventure will be. Banjo, DK, Rare Games made a lot of my childhood, and with the expectation of Banjo 3E in the background, I was so ready. Then it happened. I heard Conker was coming to Xbox, and I thought surely it would come to GameCube too, but boy was I wrong. As many of you know, this is when Microsoft acquired Rare, and most releases thereafter were released on the Xbox. With the exception of a few Game Boy titles and a remake of Diddy Kong Racing later on, the only real experience I had with an OG Xbox was at my cousin's house. I would go over there, and if we weren't playing Halo, I'd be mostly fine with watching my cousin play the Warriors or Bully. It definitely felt like this very adult-oriented console, even to me as a child. And my mom would barely let me play Zelda, let alone games like what my cousin was playing. Conker and the N64 I didn't even acquire until much later, even though I basically knew everything about it. So safe to say, Conker Live Reloaded eluded me for a long time, and by the time I did play it, the Xbox Live servers were very much dead. I always thought about what it would be like to experience this game online and how much fun it would be. Then I was informed that there was a way to play Xbox Live today on an actual Xbox. I was a little in disbelief, but looked into it, and sure enough, thank you to the folks online who suggested this service to me. Insignia Live is a server that wants to bring back complete OG Xbox Live functionality. It doesn't support the whole library currently, but you know what it does support? Conker! The dream is alive. So now, how do I make this happen? Will this permanently change my console? Will it take modding? And to be honest, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. There are a few different methods to do this, but for me, all I had to do was get a small USB to controller port dongle. And I had a small flash drive handy. If you don't, you'll need one of those. It's important to note that the flash drive has to be under 4 gigabytes. Download some software, follow the tutorials, punch in some info, and create your gamer tag, and boom, I was ready to game online. But unfortunately, even though I had online, that doesn't mean people were necessarily playing. So I joined the Insignia Live Discord and found a forum that was listed for Conker Live Reloaded, chatted with a few of the folks there, and we set up an event. I was eagerly awaiting the event, my Xbox pumping out heat, Conker mug in hand, and I was ready to thrash some teddies. And boy did I ever. We had an entirely full lobby. It was insane. As someone who never played this online before, it was just such a crazy experience. Knowing the game was nearly 20 years old and I'm playing it as it was intended on the original hardware, it just felt like this blast of nostalgia fulfilling a void of something I didn't get as a child. I was sure to try every class I could. The Grunt, this was your standard run and gun guy. I had a healing ability and an automatic machine gun perfect for mid-range combat. I tended to flock to this one quite a bit. Then I moved on to the Sneaker. Swords are cool. I love the movement and the overly dramatic flips I could do, but unfortunately I sucked. With the exception of having an ability to turn invisible and sneaking up, once I revealed it, I was either successful or more than likely eliminated. I played this class sparingly. The Demolisher class. You play as a giant character who can go into this beast-like rage state and slam into the ground, making enemies around bounce. The true name of this class, though, is NoobTuber. You have a giant rocket launcher. It was pretty effective if you could hit. Long range and mid range, though close-up could be tough to not hurt yourself. The Thermophile class is one where you get a flamethrower. It's really good for close and mid-range, but anything from a distance, forget about it. And then the last class I played as was the Long Ranger. This is the sniper of the group. I actually started getting pretty decent, sniping all the poor defenseless enemies from a distance. It was awesome and so satisfying to get a headshot, and as you can expect from Conker, most deaths are way over the top. I guess there's one more class, but I never got to play as it. Perhaps I will in the future. The overall gameplay is fun, with each character in each class having access to a main weapon, sometimes with alternate firing capabilities or ammo types, a few grenades, one of a destruction type, and another more for stunning. Then each class has a special ability as mentioned. It's a third-person shoot-'em-up. It's a giant battle between teddies and the squirrels. What makes it really cool is you also have some defensive gadgets, some you can summon and others placed strategically on the map, ensuring you get defenses for whatever situation, whether it be mines in the ground or giant Gatling guns. And yes, there are vehicles. I actually had a fight with this hover vehicle that was just racking up the kills. It was insane, and I definitely yearned to get into this vehicle and rack up the kills myself. I almost got into it one time, but then it was taken by my teammate, and the game thought it would be funny to make me fall to the ground. You are mocking me, aren't you? We played 2 game modes, one that was capture the flag and the other a team deathmatch. Both exactly how you'd imagine. There are also upgrades scattered strategically throughout the maps where you grab them, and each class gets a special weapon, with my personal favorite being the laser. It was awesome. I was burning away all the teddy scum. Teddies. I hate those guys. Okay, truth be told, I played as teddies quite a bit too. Each map we played on felt entirely different and crafted in a way that pushes us to fight no matter where we are. There were a few spots you could hide for too long, and you could select where you wanted to respawn in after a death, which kind of makes for some hectic areas because you could spawn in the same spot as the enemies, and you could all just keep spawning in one spot and just keep fighting in this really tiny little area. It was pretty intense. And all of these maps are so creative. I love the storming the beach one, there was an ice one, there was a fortress one, a castle. I mean, each one felt totally unique. I don't even think I played them all, but each one was so distinct in my mind and I remember them all vividly. It's pretty awesome. The game also starts and ends each battle with a unique cutscene depending on who wins. I loved watching these. They were filled with all of that rare charm. It's just so endearing and it really makes it all feel fantastic. We'll be setting up lobbies and playing online when we can. Perhaps we'll do some community nights in the future of this game as well. If you have an OG Xbox and Conker and want to play online, let's do it. I'll post everything in the description you'll need to get online and playing, as well as links to the Insignia Discord and my own Discord where we will be connected for information. Well, that's all I have for you. I hope you'll drop a like to help spread awareness for this around, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss my future uploads and community nights. Until next time, eat lead, mother buzzers. Jiggylookback!